Alice isn't somebody that you don't know, it's somebody that is very close to you. Alice is a phenomena where you're working hard, you're doing the best to support your family and keep things moving in a positive direction, and you want to see success in yourself and in your children, and yet the resources are limited, so that movement or that transition is sometimes near impossible, and all it takes is one event. I was a stay-at-home mom and had to make decisions that were really difficult about how to navigate from being reliant on my children's father for income to having really no prospects of how I would support myself and my children. Housing was a real difficult challenge because I didn't have any place to live, and it was the kindness of a local gentleman who said he would rent me his home on the promise of a job. I lived on Pitt Street in that home, and it was a home of peace and safety and sanctuary, but it was the kindness of one individual who allowed me to live there until I could kind of get my bearings. But what would later happen is I would get employment. So I got 3 jobs, which sounds great in theory. However, those 3 jobs were not enough to support any kind of transition from being reliant on all of these social programs to not having anything. There was no safety net. I've been in and out of Alice several times. It's not even something that is just a one-time phenomena. Trying to just maintain and support 5 children to become their own identities and their own self-sufficient individuals with their own journeys and their own dreams fulfilled, that was a lot of Alice time. When the United Way started working towards creating new resources to be that safety net for folks, that to me was the most meaningful strategy United Way ever came up with. If you consider where the vulnerabilities lie, right? Housing is a huge area. Our rent goes up. The house that I live in is no longer available. It's being sold and I was renting it. United Way can help with housing support and resources to help sustain in those trying times when housing is your vulnerability. Rappahannock United Way is a community builder. Certainly, the United Way offers any number of ways to help Alice. And contributing to the United Way financially is a great way to help. But your sphere of influence is greater than that. The sphere of influence of us as human beings is as wide and vast as our imagination. I've had people at the grocery store be in front of me in line, and they paid for my grocery bill. But they saw this woman with 5 babies hanging on a grocery cart, looking maybe perhaps a little tired, perhaps frustrated, and said, I'm gonna pay this grocery bill. That was pretty powerful and significant. And then you pay it forward. You pay it to the next person. It feels uncomfortable to ask for help. It feels like you failed. Like I can't take care of my family, and excuse me. But somebody taught me something. That perhaps the blessing is for the person who is allowed to help, right? I know that I found that joy in being able to help any way I can. I found that it's more of a blessing for me to assist somebody else now that I'm able to than it was to have to receive that assistance. So why would I deny somebody else the opportunity to bless me? At 62 years old, I graduated with my bachelor's degree, which is just last year, in cultural anthropology. And I feel like, you know what, it's never too late to pursue your personal dreams too. Being able to survive requires something beyond just pull it up by your bootstraps kind of attitude. It requires a whole lot of support, formal and informal, emotional, spiritual, physical, whatever you need to sustain knowing that tomorrow will be better.